I heard the sound before I understood what it meant. Not shouting, not anger, just the slow scrape of sneakers across hardwood, deliberate, careful, like someone moving things they had already decided no longer belonged to me. Then I saw the black bags. If you've ever lost someone you loved and realized, slowly, painfully, that you were being erased at the same time, stay with me. Because my son didn't just drift away after my wife died. He shut me out of my own house. And it wasn't until my lawyer finally said the truth out loud that I understood why. The house before it broke. For 42 years, that house wasn't just where we lived, it was where our lives were practiced. Marion and I bought it when interest rates were high and our savings were low. We painted the walls ourselves because we couldn't afford contractors. I remember standing on a ladder while she handed me brushes, laughing because I'd splashed paint onto my hair. Our son was 6 then. He sat on the floor drawing monsters that always lost in the end. We argued about tile. We argued about money. We argued about nothing. And then we forgave each other, because forgiveness was cheaper than pride. The house learned us. It learned the sound of Marion's steps in the morning, the place where she set her keys, the way she leaned her hip against the counter when she read mail. That house saw hospital nights long before they came for good. When Marion got sick, everything slowed down. White lights, beeping machines, the smell of disinfectant that clings to your clothes no matter how many times you wash them. I learned how to hold her hand without squeezing too tight. I learned which tea eased her nausea. I learned how to talk about nothing just to keep her present. She died in that house. Curtains drawn. Radio low. My hand holding hers until the moment there was nothing left to hold. After that, the house didn't feel empty. It felt paused. How invisibility starts. Grief doesn't announce itself loudly. It sneaks in through politeness. People start saying things like, "You should rest. I'll handle that. Don't worry about it." At first, it sounds like kindness. Then one day you realize decisions are being made without you. Mail stopped arriving in my name. Bills were handled. When I asked questions, my son said, "Dad, relax, I've got it." And I believed him. Because grief makes you compliant. It makes you afraid of being difficult. Then his girlfriend started rearranging things. Not aggressively, carefully. She moved Marion's photos to protect them. Boxed her sweaters to make space. Replaced personal items with neutral ones. She always smiled. And my son always agreed. The house wasn't changing fast. It was changing quietly. The night of the garage. The night they moved me into the garage wasn't dramatic. That's what made it worse. No shouting. No anger. Just efficiency. A thin mattress leaned against the wall, black bags stacked neatly. My son stood there with his arms crossed. "There's room in the garage," he said. He didn't say, "for now." He didn't say, "I'm sorry." He said it like a solution, like I was a problem that needed relocating. The garage smelled like oil and cold concrete. The mattress turned sleep into a suggestion. That night, neighbors noticed. Constance brought soup and said nothing. Joe sat on the steps with coffee. Sister Rosa looked at me and said, "You look like a man who's been misplaced." She was right. I wasn't being punished. I was being reorganized. The paper that changed everything. A few nights later, going through old boxes, I found an envelope. Manila. Worn. Marion's handwriting. Inside were receipts, mortgage statements, repair records, and beneath them, the deed. My name. typed clearly. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt steady. That paper wasn't a weapon. It was proof that my life had weight. I hadn't brought it up before because it felt wrong, like turning love into leverage. But love leaves records. Quiet ones. The lawyer's confession. I called a lawyer. Not a loud one, not a dramatic one. Dr. Rodrigo listened. When I finished, he didn't say, "We'll fight." He said, "When a spouse dies, power shifts. Not always because people are cruel, but because fear needs control. Fear of money, fear of responsibility, fear of uncertainty." Then he said the sentence that changed everything. "Facts don't accuse, they clarify." We organized documents, dates, receipts, witnesses. When the notice was read aloud, calmly, neutrally, something shifted. Not loudly, but visibly. Consequences without screaming. The girlfriend left days later. Quietly. No screaming, no scene. My son stayed. He didn't defend himself. He said, "I didn't know how to handle things. I thought I was doing the right thing." We didn't fix everything that day, but dignity returned. The lawyer's confession wasn't about blame. It was about clarity. Fear plus control plus silence had pushed me aside. Facts ended the silence. The house began to breathe again. Slowly. Imperfectly. We rebuilt routines. Set boundaries. Spoke plainly. And I learned something I wish I'd known sooner. Being patient is not the same as being invisible. Being kind is not the same as surrender. Standing up for yourself doesn't require anger, only truth. If this story spoke to you, subscribe. This channel isn't about revenge. It's about dignity. Comment, "I see it now," if you've lived something similar, and tell me where you're watching from. And if you know someone who's grieving and quietly being pushed aside, share this with them. Sometimes clarity is the kindest thing we can give.